On the edge of a quiet little village, where the meadows stretched far and wide and the lake glistened under the golden sun, there was a small nest tucked safely among the tall reeds. Inside the nest, a patient mother duck sat, warming a clutch of eggs beneath her soft feathers. It was summer, the season of life. The air smelled of wildflowers, and dragonflies skimmed lightly over the water. The gentle breeze carried the songs of larks, and everything seemed alive with promise. The mother duck's eyes sparkled with both weariness and anticipation. For many days she had sat quietly, waiting, protecting, dreaming of the little ones who would soon step into the world. One bright morning, the first egg cracked. Out popped a fluffy yellow duckling, blinking at the sunlight and chirping, cheep, cheep. His tiny wings trembled as he tried to find his balance. Soon, another egg cracked open, then another and another. One by one, the nest filled with golden little ducklings, each soft as a buttercup petal. The mother duck quacked with delight. "Welcome, my children. The world is waiting for you. Come closer, my little ones, and let me see your shining faces." The ducklings waddled clumsily, their tiny feet tapping on the broken shells. They huddled under their mother's wings, chirping with joy. Yet, as the family celebrated, one egg remained in the nest. It was larger than the others and had not yet cracked. The mother duck tilted her head thoughtfully. "This one is taking its time," she murmured, "but patience brings blessings. I shall wait a little longer." The other ducks from the lake came swimming by. They poked their beaks into the reeds and laughed. "Still waiting, are you?" One of them teased. "That egg is far too big. Perhaps it's a turkey's egg. Don't waste your time." But the mother duck only ruffled her feathers and replied firmly, "It is mine, and I will not give it up. Every egg deserves its chance." And so she waited. Days passed, the sun rose and set, and the world continued its rhythm of life. Finally, on a cool morning, the large egg began to crack. Slowly, with a great deal of effort, the shell split apart. Out came a duckling, yet he looked nothing like his brothers and sisters. He was large, clumsy, and covered in gray feathers instead of soft yellow down. His wings drooped awkwardly, and his long neck wobbled as though it did not belong to him. The other ducklings blinked in surprise. "What's that?" whispered one. "Why is he so big and strange?" asked another. Even the mother duck tilted her head in confusion. She looked at the newcomer for a long moment and sighed softly. "He is different," she admitted, "but he is still my child." The gray duckling lifted his eyes toward his mother, searching for warmth and acceptance. She nuzzled him gently, though her heart was uneasy. The days that followed were full of mixed joys. The little yellow ducklings chirped and played by the water, learning to swim and dive. The gray duckling joined them, but he was clumsy and slow. When he tried to swim, his body splashed awkwardly, sending the others into fits of laughter. "Look at him," they cried. "He can't even paddle properly." The mother duck tried to hush them, but the teasing only grew. As the weeks passed, the gray duckling became the target of every cruel remark. "Why are you so ugly?" his brothers jeered. "Stay away from us," the other ducklings quacked. Even the farm animals mocked him. The rooster crowed, "Cock-a-doodle-doo. What a sight. You'll never be handsome like me." The cat hissed, "Ugly creature, you don't belong here." The gray duckling felt the sting of every word. He looked at his reflection in the water, seeing the awkward creature staring back. His heart sank. He did not look like his siblings. He did not look like anyone at all. One evening, when the sun dipped low and painted the sky with gold and purple, the mother duck approached him. Her eyes were tired. "Oh, my poor child," she said gently. "If only you were like the others, life would be easier for you. But perhaps, in time, you will grow and change." The duckling's heart ached. "Mother," he whispered, "am I truly your child? Why am I so different?" The mother duck did not answer, for she had no answer to give. And so the duckling's loneliness grew like a shadow that followed him wherever he went. The days grew shorter. The warm breath of summer gave way to crisp winds that rustled the leaves into shades of amber and gold. The once bright meadow dulled under the fading sun, and the lake mirrored the fiery colors of autumn. But for the gray duckling, the world only grew colder in spirit. His brothers and sisters had grown sleek and lively, while he remained awkward and strange. The farmyard animals never missed a chance to remind him of it. Ugly thing. The chickens clucked as they pecked the ground. Stay away from the feed. You scare the little ones, the goose hissed. The pigs squealed with laughter whenever he passed. Even the children from the farmhouse threw stones at him, shouting, "Look at that ugly bird, chase it away." Every corner of the farmyard echoed with mockery. No matter where he turned, the duckling found no kindness, no belonging. His heart grew heavy with sorrow. One chilly evening, after another day of cruel taunts, the duckling sat alone by the reeds. The sky glowed with the last embers of sunset, and the water shimmered with orange light. Tears welled in his eyes. "I cannot stay here," he whispered to himself. "I must go, even if the wide world rejects me too. Anywhere is better than this." And so, with trembling steps, he spread his clumsy wings and slipped away under the cover of night. The field stretched endlessly damp with morning dew. The duckling wandered through furrows of harvested corn, past scarecrows standing silent in the mist. Each night he curled into the grass, shivering, with only the stars for company. Hunger gnawed at him. Loneliness pressed upon him like a heavy cloak. One morning, as he wandered near a pond, he saw a flock of wild ducks. They circled above him, their wings strong and graceful, before landing with splashes that rippled across the water. "Who are you?" one of the wild ducks asked, tilting her head at him. I am only a poor duckling," he stammered. "Ugly and alone?" The wild ducks studied him for a moment. Then, without malice, one said, "You may stay here if you like, but keep to yourself. We have no quarrel with you." For a few days, the duckling rested among them. It was not warmth, not friendship, but at least it was peace. But peace never lasts long. Hunters soon came, their dogs barking and guns echoing through the reeds. The wild ducks scattered into the sky with cries of terror. The duckling crouched low, his heart pounding. The dogs thundered past him, but strangely, none touched him. When the hunters left, silence returned. The duckling rose from his hiding place, trembling. Why did they not harm me? He wondered, is it because I am so ugly even the dogs despise me? And so he left again, wandering deeper into the countryside. One evening, when the wind carried the scent of autumn leaves and the first frost kissed the fields, the duckling stumbled upon a wide, still lake. The setting sun painted it silver and gold, and on its shining surface glided a vision so breathtaking that the duckling forgot his sorrow for a moment. They were swans. Their long necks arched like ivory, their feathers glowed white as snow, and their movements were so graceful that they seemed not of this earth. They floated together, turning in perfect harmony, their reflections shimmering beneath them. The duckling stared in awe, his heart pounding as though it might break. "What beautiful creatures," he whispered. "I have never seen anything so noble, so free." The swans lifted their wings, and with a single powerful motion, they rose into the sky. The duckling watched as they soared above the glowing lake, their cries echoing like music. He stretched his neck toward them, longing beyond words. "I would give anything," he murmured, "to fly with them, to be near them. Even if they pecked me to death for being so ugly, it would be worth it." But as the last trace of their wings vanished into the clouds, the duckling lowered his head in despair. He was left with only the reflection of his own clumsy body in the dark water. And so, with the swan's beauty imprinted upon his heart, the duckling wandered on, carrying both hope and sorrow with him into the growing chill of autumn. The golden leaves had all fallen, leaving the trees bare and shivering. The wind sharpened, howling across the meadows and whipping the reeds into restless dances. The sky grew pale and sunless, and frost painted every blade of grass with silver. Winter had come. For the lonely duckling, it was a season of cruel trials. The ponds froze over, and the soft mud where he once foraged turned to stone. He wandered across the frozen fields, his feet stinging with every step. Hunger gnawed at him constantly, but there was little to eat. Sometimes he found a frozen kernel of corn or a withered root buried beneath the snow, but often he went without. At night, the wind cut through him like knives. He tucked his head beneath his wing, shivering, whispering to himself, "If only I were like the others, if only I belonged somewhere." Each day was a struggle, not just for food, but for the strength to go on. One stormy evening, when snow fell so thick that the world seemed nothing but white, the duckling stumbled upon a small cottage. Smoke rose from its chimney, and the faint glow of firelight flickered through the cracks in the door. With trembling steps, he crept inside through a broken plank. The warmth of the fire washed over him, and for the first time in weeks, he felt a touch of comfort. Exhausted, he curled into a corner and fell asleep. The next morning, the farmer's children discovered him. "Look, a duck," cried the little girl, scooping him into her arms. They placed him by the hearth, and for a while, the duckling thought perhaps he had found safety at last. They fed him crumbs of bread, and the warmth revived his weary body. But peace never lasted. The children were rough in their play. They chased him, tried to catch him, pulled at his feathers. The cat hissed at him, and the old hen pecked whenever he came too close. Frightened and restless, the duckling flapped his wings wildly one day and knocked over the milk pail. The farmer's wife scolded, waving her broom, and the children laughed as they tried to catch him again. Terrified, he darted toward the open door and fled into the storm. The snow bit at his face, but freedom was better than fear. As the weeks dragged on, the cold grew harsher. One evening, weary and desperate, the duckling landed on a half-frozen lake. The water was bitterly cold, but at least he could drink. He paddled slowly, but the ice thickened overnight. By morning, his wings were stiff and his body was trapped in the frozen water. The duckling struggled, but the more he fought, the more the ice closed around him. His heart pounded with terror. Is this the end? Will I die here, alone in the cold? Just then, a farmer passing by broke the ice with his staff. He lifted the duckling gently and tucked him beneath his coat. The warmth revived him, and the farmer carried him home. For a short time, the duckling was safe again, but he never trusted the cottage life. The cat and the hen hissed, the children chased him, and he lived in constant fear. So one frosty morning, as soon as he was strong enough, he spread his wings and flew out the open window. The season dragged on, long and merciless. The duckling wandered from one frozen field to another, from pond to pond, barely surviving on scraps. His feathers grew ragged, his body thin. Yet somewhere deep inside, a flicker of determination remained. Through hunger, fear, and bitter cold, he whispered to himself, "Endure, just endure. The world cannot stay frozen forever." At last, one morning, as he lay in the reeds by a half-thawed stream, he heard the first notes of birdsong. The air softened. The snow began to melt, trickling into rivulets that shimmered in the sunlight. Spring had come. The duckling raised his head, weary but alive. His trials had not broken him. Something new was stirring, though he did not yet understand it. He stretched his wings, stronger now, fuller than before, and felt within him a longing so powerful it seemed to lift him from the ground. And for the first time, he dared to hope that his suffering had not been in vain.